Okay.
Yes.
Janna,
Yes.
are you familiar with Dolly 2 or Midjourney or Stable Diffusion or any other AI art
I am
programs?
familiar with Dolly 2, and that completes my knowledge.
So you've never used them for uh, like inspiration or anything when doing art?
No, I've seen images and I think that they're like profoundly beautiful, but no, I haven't.
Okay. So, a problem that people have noticed with AI art, or AI image generation in general, is so a lot of people have noticed that if you give it certain prompts, it'll generate watermarks from like stock image sites, which leads people to believe that these systems were trained on images that they didn't pay for. They just scraped all the free images from
Like
like
Google
Getty,
Images.
Shutterstock, Getty, and all those places. And you can even see here's an example of it generating someone's signature and then like
Oh,
trying to scrub it out.
that's crazy. Huh.
Um, yeah. So what do you think about that?
Um, I mean, I guess it pretty much directly shows that like AI, AI art is like directly taking, kind of like fusing artist's work. I think on one hand, I think it's pretty cool because it's like awesome that their style is defined enough that AI can use it to generate completely new things. But on the other hand, I'm kind of assume that it's like pretty devastating for those artists, like financially.
Yeah. And something interesting that I just learned is that Stability AI, which is obviously the company behind Stable Diffusion, is making a music AI, but they've said that it will only be trained on copyright free, like opt in music. And people are saying, like, so now they're like scared of the music industry, like coming after them for
uh,
copyright. And they literally said in the announcement, um, because diffusion models are prone to memorization and overfitting, releasing a model trained on copyrighted data could potentially result in legal issues. So overfitting is just their way of saying like, oops, it accidentally like stole someone's entire work and like put it into this image.
I mean, is it true that like the AI is like so beyond our algorithmic understanding that we literally like don't know whether or not it is dipping into these pools of just direct like artists' works? Like
Um,
from the programmer's perspective, is it actually like, oh, I don't know what it's doing, oops? Or like, is there someone who knows the answer to this question?
I'm pretty sure that they know it's like basically taking copyrighted stuff. And this, I feel like the music one kind of proves it because they're like,
Because like the unprotected artists are being like plagiarized, but the music industry, which is like legally more vicious, is not
yeah,
able to
the
be.
music industry is like famously like will
Yeah.
go after anyone for like any tiny infringement. Okay, so the next issue is just people using AI for like outright stealing people's art on purpose. Not just like, oops, it generated something that looks really similar, but like I'm intentionally using AI to steal someone else's art. So this is a crazy example of there was a Twitch streamer. They were doing a live paint on Twitch to their audience. They were making art from scratch and then they were going to post it online afterwards. Someone using image to image, which is like a plugin for Photoshop, which is like you take a base image and then you get the AI to like generate a bunch of variations on it. So they used image to image to finish the artist's work before the artist did,
Ooh.
and then they posted it online claiming it was theirs.
What?
And then when the artist posted their own version, like the real version,
Yeah.
the AI person was like, "Hey, this is my."
No way.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just straight up bad faith. Like, that's pretty awful. Yeah, that's pretty awful.
So what do you think? What do you think should be done about the, or like what can be done about the? Wait, actually, hold on. All right. So what can be done about that?
I mean, that's a really good question. I don't know if I personally can answer it, but I feel like
I just made it way too quiet. All right. Third take. What can be done about art theft using AI?
first of all, I don't know if I specifically can answer that question, but I mean, my best guess is that in this case, it seems like reputation is pretty much solving that problem because people who are well known, obviously, like,
Well, that doesn't protect people who have no like low followers, and like,
yeah, it's true.
the only reason the person didn't get away with it is because a bunch of other
Was
people were
well known.
watching the artist create it on stream, and the artist was creating it on stream. Like they have video proof of them like making it from scratch.
I think that as a result of AI art, people are going to start to care a lot more about credit and like who is directly making the art that they're seeing because like I just imagine that if I'm seeing a post from someone who's like, "Wow, look at this cool thing I made," that in the future I would be more prone to click on their profile and be like, "Okay, is this person an AI artist or are they like here's this history of like their skill evolving, here's all their other pieces that like are similar to their style." Um I'm not sure if there's even like I feel like ideally there would be a technical solution to this, like battling AI with more AI that's like
I mean, that's what DeviantArt, I think, yeah, I think DeviantArt has. They already have like an anti NFT thing, like some machine learning thing, and I think they also have an anti AI generated system. I don't know how well it works, but
yeah, I don't even know how that would work, but like I I don't know that would be my best guess besides like reputation checking. Yeah.
yeah. Okay. So since you mentioned differentiating between real artists and AI artists, one of the first times that I even like heard about any like controversy with AI art is someone using Midjourney entered and won an art competition.
Not saying that it was AI created.
No, okay, here's the thing. They did say they said their name via Midjourney. And the judges didn't know what that meant. So they were just grading it as if it was real art. But then the artist was like, well, I said it was AI art, so like and of course all the other competitors were not happy about that.
Okay, something that you said made me think about like a potential future system that we could put in place where like you know how whenever you're like writing an essay and you have like, you know, references and citations and things. I feel like a similar system could be put in play where whenever a piece of like AI generated art is like identified, in the description has to be like first of all the system that they used and the like keywords that they put in. And then also some of the like pools that the AI was dipping into like data wise.
So do you think that AI artists should get credit for it? Okay, here's a better question. Do you think that the AI artists own the copyright to the stuff they make using the AI, or do the developers of the AI own the copyright?
I think that for such a difficult question, the answer would have to be pretty nuanced. And so I would say for like if I don't personally believe that like an AI artist who simply like types in some key phrases to, an AI is categorized as an artist, but I would say that there definitely are real like AI artists who like take advantage of the tool of AI and like how it does what it does to make like really beautiful like pieces with like human intention behind them that are also like cool distillations of like humanity's understanding of like I don't know the like concept of like dream or hope. I think in that way there are like there is a way to do it that I would define as like artistry. Um yeah, what was your original question?
Basically, should the credit go to the prompt makers, as people call them, or to the AI system itself?
I think all of it.
All of it?
Yeah, I like just in the
So
way
if
that
they were to, let's say they were to like make money off of it, you think the money should be like split between like the prompt person, the AI developers, and then people in the data set, all the people in the data set that are
honestly,
like,
yeah, I think that even though it sounds like that would be really complicated and kind of silly, I think it is the best
that's the
option
ideal
because
solution.
yeah, because then also people would want to be in the data set because it would be another revenue stream for artists.
Yeah, it's like
And
residuals on like movies and stuff.
yeah, and also I think it's worth noting that like I think that this problem only exists because we live in like a consumer capitalist society. Like if like artists didn't have to like I don't know, make
Battle it
art
out.
to survive or
Yeah.
like clothe their children, then I feel like the notion of credit in and of itself is like kind of silly because like nothing is done independently, like least of all success. But I do acknowledge that like practically and philosophically this is a different issue and like practically it is very problematic for artists.
I think that even philosophically, it's still like,
I think the existence of AI
as
art by
as
itself
far
is
as
not.
we can tell, the AI is just a glorified image compositor. It takes a bunch of images and mixes them together. It's not, I mean, AI people will claim that like, oh, it's learning just like humans do, and
It
like,
has no definition of meaning. It has no intention.
yeah, okay.
Just by definition of the circuitry. Like
A
that's not
really good
possible.
example or a good like proof of that is that the original DALL-E was straight up built using a text generator.
That makes sense.
Like,
yeah.
you know, GPT, I've GPT-3. There's some like thing where you like put in a prompt and then it like writes a bunch of whatever based on that prompt. So it's like, write me a
Oh yeah.
film
Yeah.
script, or like finish this script, and you like give it a couple characters and lines, and then it'll like write a whole page of like dialogue.
Yeah. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. um okay, so lastly, actually not lastly, but so all I think, maybe not DALL-E 2, but a lot of these tools offer the ability to, in the prompt, you can say like, in the style of this specific
Yeah, like
artist.
Van Gogh or
Yeah.
yeah.
Which I guess is not really a problem for dead artists like Van Gogh, even though, I mean, I still think it is like kind of disrespectful, but there are many alive artists who are like, hey, don't do that.
Yeah.
Simon Stellenhag, who made the Electric State
Oh, cool.
book, specifically was like, there was a guy who knew that he didn't like people making AI art using his style, and the guy intentionally used his style. It was like to like make him angry and like trigger a lawsuit or something to like push AI art forward or whatever. Like,
Dang. People really have ulterior motives out here.
yeah, there's a whole like tech bro like this is the future is inevitable, like just accept it. Like, it's very strange.
Personally, I do think that it should like be I don't know like illegal. I guess illegal, but like just not allowed to like if you're an artist, you should be able to like put your name on a list of like, hello, I don't want my name to be a keyword that is used in your system. And then the program should have to respect that.
Yeah. I mean, there's also artists who, I forget his name, James something. He's like super into it. He's like, wow, I love people using my style to make these awesome images. But he seems to be really in the minority, at least of people that I follow on Twitter and stuff.
Personally, I would, if I had like a really nice style, I would be so excited to use AI. Like, I feel like there's definitely so many.
You don't think it's like lacking in like let's say you like perfected your style. Do you think and like every image you created had like super deep like personal meaning?
Yeah.
Don't you think that using like churning out like Yana Gilman works with AI would kind of like defeat the purpose of the works?
Personally, I would be pretty excited if I could like churn out a bunch of cool, like effortless, just I don't know. I feel like I'm in the camp of like the more art that's in the world, the better. And also like
I disagree with that.
I do think that there are two different like types of uh art or like value to art. One is the intention that was put into the piece, and the second is like the intention that is or the meaning that is found in the piece by the subject that is observing it. So I think AI art is still art because it like still can invoke I don't know passion response in actual human beings, and you can have art that is like either a lot of human intention was put into it or a lot of human intention is or human meaning is like seen in it, and both are fine.
Yeah. In my opinion, part of the like taking meaning out of it is knowing that someone put meaning into it. So I feel like it's almost like deceitful to if you like don't know that it's AI art. It changes how you view it if someone's like, "Oh, by the way, this is AI generated."
Personally, I don't see that. Like, I feel like there are a lot of things that I look at just in the world that were not created by anything more than just like the natural systems that have evolved that I found like profoundly, I don't know, just like beautiful and like artsy.
Yeah. So there's also like in addition to like using specific people's style, a lot of AI artists will in their prompts they'll put like trending on ArtStation, like that type of thing to get a certain like look of like yeah, I guess trending on ArtStation is kind of self-explanatory, but like the type of art that would do well on ArtStation because it currently does well on ArtStation.
So they're pumping out like bangers based on previous bangers.
I wouldn't call the AI art bangers, but yes, that's their goal is to make like the ArtStation style just like endlessly churn it out. What do you think of that?
I actually don't know what ArtStation is, but I just assume it's like a popular art platform.
Yeah, it's mainly for like a lot of it's kind of like LinkedIn for artists. It's kind of like a portfolio-ish site. There's a lot of like concept art and stuff on there.
I think that it's probably an interesting like exploration into what is popular in the eyes of like the art community. But besides that, I don't think there's really anything like there's definitely not anything really meaningful to it. And I also think that if we had a system that was like directly says, hello, this is AI art. I used this program and I put in these keywords and it dipped from these data pools, that stuff wouldn't trend anyways, because all the like meaning would be sucked out of it.
You don't think that people would just ignore that stuff? It's like, I feel like it's kind of the same as like putting something in the description of a YouTube video. It's like most people are not even going to see that.
I mean, if most people,
If you, and also like, if you like posted an image on Twitter and then like you like made a thread where like the second post says like, also this is AI art.
I guess you could have like two, a lot of systems will have to be changed because of AI art. And I feel like one of them is that like ArtStation could have two categories of trending, one that includes AI art and one that doesn't, or one that exclusively like contains AI art and then the normal one is exclusive.
Yeah. And I guess the other question would be like, you kind of can't have freedom. Like, you can't have a system. I feel like the system would have to be made in such a way where you are not allowed to specify whether your art is AI generated or not, because then there will always be people who will just lie about it and say, yep, I made this, but they actually didn't.
Wait, so you're saying that it's like irrelevant because there will always be liars? So crediting isn't even worth it? Because I don't agree with that.
No, I'm saying that for platforms like ArtStation and DeviantArt and stuff, like if they were to add like a checkbox when you're like uploading your thing that's like this was AI generated, I feel like, at least from what I've seen online, a lot of people who are like super into AI art don't want, or okay, let me rephrase that. They don't want to be separated from artists. They think they are artists. And then there's a subgroup of that who doesn't even want people to know that their stuff is AI generated. So I'm saying those people would probably not respect the checkbox on a website.
I think that AI artists are artists, and so getting rid of some of that stigma would probably help the first category of people, and then the second category, but both categories of people, my best guess of a solution would be just a technological solution, like AI that double checks that what it's seeing is not AI generated and compares it to whether or not the check mark was ticked.
Okay. Last question.
Yeah.
From the business side of art, are you at all concerned that... Okay, let's paint a picture.
Yeah.
Currently, the way that freelance artists operate is they mostly build up their portfolio by doing small-time commissions, and that gets them noticed by bigger commissions, and that's how you like move up in the art world. Are you concerned that a lot of small-time commissions, which don't have a very high budget and would probably like to get away with not paying an artist at all to do work, that those commissions will start, I guess, not instantly, but in the future, overwhelmingly going to AI rather than actual artists? And for an example, all of the articles that I showed you, except for one, used AI art for the like key art at the top, which kind of makes sense because they're about AI art. But I've also seen, I couldn't find it, but I saw an article. It was just like a normal article about Harvey Weinstein, and the key art at the top was an AI generated like kind of like black and white like moody drawing of him like in a prison cell or whatever, like or like in the interrogation room, and it said like generated by Midjourney or whatever underneath. So do you think that's a problem?
Yeah, I'm actually like pretty confident that that is probably already a problem and going to just get worse. I feel like you know what happened with automation, or what is happening with automation in like the job
Yeah.
market, is it kind of just feels like art is literally just like facing that problem now where it can also be automated. And so part of it is I think that a lot of the like leverage that artists have right now to like defend their like skill level and like their commission like fee is going to be taken away by the fact that you can just AI it. um, but yeah, so I do think it is a problem, and I think honestly it's just going to be one more like straw in the stack or whatever, of like things that make us aware that our current system is not working and we need a different one.
So you think, what I think is that in the future, I mean, companies like Disney are already like, instead of recasting Luke Skywalker, they're just using a deep fake to de-age Mark Hamill just forever now, I guess. And also in Book of Boba Fett, they also used an AI voice to like mimic young Mark Hamill's voice. And then James Earl Jones, who's done the voice of Darth Vader since 1977, is now over 90 years old, so he can't really do the voice anymore. And he just gave the rights to Disney to use an AI voice generator for Darth Vader instead of having someone else do the Darth Vader voice. So so that leads me to believe that since they're already willing to go down that path, that in the future, like movies and stuff, like as much of the production as possible will not involve any artists. So eventually there will be like the script will be AI generated, and then like maybe even someday like Facebook has already announced a text to video tool. So like and Google announced one as well. But so like there could be an AI generated script with completely AI generated imagery, and it's just that for every movie.
Well, first of all, I am not convinced that an AI generated script would ever become something that is like. I simply don't think that it will hit the market of like meaningful pieces in the way that human stuff can. I don't know if I explained that correctly, but okay, there are, in my opinion, like two categories of movie. One is just like some generic, like this was made to make money and it's like not deep at all and it doesn't really mean anything.
Those are the popular movies though.
Okay, those will be AI replaced.
Yeah, I'm not saying that like there will be no movies anymore. I'm saying Hollywood cinema, like the MCU and Star Wars and all the big franchises, like those will all just like devolve into like AI generated whatever until the end of time.
100%. But I also think that that's not really what people actually want. Like, it does, like, mindless consumerism, like, media definitely is a thing that people are looking for. But there still will be, like, as you said, okay, here's another way of saying it. You know how, like, CGI replaced a ton of practical effects? And this is different because CGI artists, like, are artists. But like there's some hardcore people who still do practical effects and their fan bases are huge because like the respect for that skill is there. So I think that the same sort of like relationship will happen with movies and TVs with AI stuff. Like there will be like, oh, we like didn't have enough money to like pay writers for this section, so it's like AI generated. But like we're still doing it the like more human way.
Yeah. And it's also important to point out that the only reason practical effects are not as common anymore is because the practical effect artists are unionized and the VFX artists are not.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I guess that's what's gonna happen then.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be like pretty directly 1-to-1.
So you think that artists should unionize? Like there should be like a American Artists Guild or whatever?
I don't really know how unions work but don't they involve like leverage?
Yeah, so basically,
But the leverage will be taken away by AI, right?
yeah.
So I don't think that will work. But I do think that there's going to be like a renaissance of like people will be so into like AI generated media for a while, and then the like buzz will die off, and people will really start to like favor and love human made media again.
My concern is that it will get to a point where the average person either they can't tell or they don't care or both. And it will only be like already like I don't know, I guess like vinyl records and like film photography and like it's not really the same, but like those
Yeah.
things like there's an argument to be made that like there's like elements of film photography that like digital photography just can't capture. But like even so like only these really niche communities actually care about like the positives of those of the older technologies.
I think that that's exactly what I predict to happen. But it's also worth pointing out that um like stop motion stuff is beloved by so many people. Like Kubo was massively popular. And so I don't
Well,
think it's like
didn't do very well at the box office, but yeah,
it didn't.
I don't think so.
I okay, well, I guess just in my general circles, it was like so, people are so excited
No, yeah,
about
I'm not
it.
saying people didn't like it. I'm just saying it wasn't a financial success.
Oh, really?
I don't think.
Well, yeah, I mean, the future that I predict is basically AI art and media is going to become exactly what you said, like digital art to like film, or sorry, digital like photos to like film photos, or like records to, you know, like Spotify. But also I think it's just going to be like one more thing that makes us decide that actually like we kind of don't want to have to rely on financial success to be creative, and we're gonna have to like devise a new system where people can just exist and be okay, like UBI and all those things. So definitely I think that like we're gonna face a lot of problems, but I don't think that I think it's probably gonna lead to something better where the system itself is better that we live in.
So you think AI art will lead to a political revolution?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Okay. Okay. All right. Thanks for being interviewed.
You're welcome. Yo, look at this cat. Can you see the cat?
Kind of blocked by the microphone.
He's been sleeping this whole time.